Actually,
Oh, I see the red light on. So, we are in session and being recorded. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the January 11th Board of Selectmen meeting. We have been in executive session, and now we are here in open session. And because we've used up quite a bit of time, we'll just dive right in. So just a reminder to everyone, this meeting is being recorded for cablecast and YouTube presentation by Area 58 Community Access Media. We appreciate them being here. We appreciate the print press for being here. A reminder that the video of this meeting is not to be considered an official public record. I think we'll dispense with the ground rules since I think we know them pretty well. Just a couple moments of silence to prepare for the meeting. So again, welcome everyone. Any additions to the agenda which has been published? So we did list on the agenda an appointment at 6:30 with the Animal Control Officer, Frank Bush. He won't be able to join us, so maybe we'll simply go down a few of the other agenda items, but then with my discretion, we'll introduce that somewhere not too far along so we can get through that. So first item of the night, town personnel policy and procedures documents. We had presented to us by Dale a sort of introduction which included the title Personnel Officer, Personnel Records, Non-Discrimination. Anyone have any changes or suggestions on that?
Oh, gosh, I think I did. Shoot, can I just see it? I questioned whether we do hours of standby duty. If the people that we're, writing this for, because it's not people that are police and fire, I don't think we have anybody that would be covered by this that would get standby pay, would they?
I don't think so. No, that was, that's generic written for
Okay.
for other people.
All right, so that was
Where was the standby pay?
hours of standby.
These records
Duty.
will include the following. So we might in the future though, right? So
We might.
I mean, you can always add it later, take it out now, just so it's
Okay.
less
Less confusing.
and then, because people are gonna ask us the same.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
why,
all right. Do
yeah.
you have your master list then? Because this will be yours to correct.
Yeah, actually, I don't have it with me.
Or
so
here, I'll let you have
just
mine.
make the, if you just make the marks on it,
All right,
I'll
now
make
is
the
this-
correction. And again, this by way of, this does not hit the 10-day posting period, although it can if you like, but it doesn't have to. It's not a policy,
Well,
it's
we've gone
just an
that far.
intro to the book.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
All right. You had a couple
Well,
things.
do you want the first paragraph to say, except for the schools, police, and fire?
It can, yeah. I mean, it can, just for
Job
clarification.
descriptions, all positions and the classification.
But some of it actually applies to, Family and Medical Leave Act. That actually applies to everybody as well. So rather than leave it out, you may want to add a line such as schools, police, and fire have additional policies that are not listed here. You know what I'm saying? That, are covered by additional policies in addition to the ones that are applicable in this book or something like that. And that way there, it stays in and you make note that they do have different policies, but they are covered under the basic stuff.
So
Like
can
I
you-
said, family and medical leave is the first
Yeah,
one
and
that
the
comes to mind.
application document.
Yeah, they have stricter applications
Yeah.
than we do.
Yes.
Could you craft a sentence for that we can?
When the holidays are, the legal holidays, they'll be listed in there, and that applies to them. Although they work them, it's different. They have different shift setups for that. But their secretaries or support staff would probably get those days off along with everybody else, assuming they have any full-time employees.
How about some of these policies are superseded by
By departmental
contractual?
policies.
Yeah.
contractual
obligations.
policies or not even contractual.
Do you think we can craft a sentence, or do you want, shall we have Dale work on
Yeah.
it for a week?
Why don't we, do you want to just work on it for a week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's just work on it for a
Okay,
week.
all right, so we have that one. Dale, will you be prepared to work on crafting a good sentence there?
Yeah, just.
I'm making a note here, I'll give this to
Swing
you.
another
Yeah, and
circle around it.
I'll take a look too
Okay.
on that, I mean, you know,
Okay.
maybe we can work together and come up with something, but that sounds perfect to hold that.
Yeah, the second note is.
Yeah, I think I had other notes as well, but I
Negligible.
don't have them with
All
me.
right, did you have something else?
No, it was just, it says that the town coordinator is gonna maintain the official time and attendance records, but, I mean, he's not gonna do this weekly. Are you?
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I think that was mine too, it's more the department heads that do that.
That's the department heads that do that, and maybe you'll get a monthly report from them or something, but.
Yeah, you get a statement, but you don't maintain them on a weekly basis.
Time cards and that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Right, so you might wanna think about a sentence you can add there as well, that would clarify that.
Yeah, just circle it, and I'll find some better language.
Okay.
You have the one that you're circling.
Where am I circling?
It's still this paragraph.
Maintain the official time and attendance of these records, yeah. So I'll take a look at that.
All right, so it looks like we all need a little more work on
Yeah.
this one. I'll give that to Dale, we'll put it on the agenda
Can you
for
just make a
next
copy
week.
of that for me, and I'll see if I can come up with something too?
Oh,
We
okay.
can work together on it.
And
Okay.
actually, I probably should have a copy too.
Okay.
So we had also discussed whether we thought there were any other policy and procedures to add.
The only one that I would suggest would be a computer use policy, because a computer use policy, because one of our policies references that, but it wouldn't, we could wait. We could
Those
wait.
turn into 20-page documents
Yeah, they
in my
do.
experience. And I wonder if maybe we should,
Do you want me to see if Copeland and Page has anything on their website?
guess we could. I think this might be the time to feel like we've done some pretty good work on this.
I'm ready to put this thing to bed.
I actually think we have so many proactive things on the plate right now.
Okay.
I'd let the computer thing sit.
All right, we'll hold that until maybe after town meeting?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
always look at it again in the summer.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the summer when we have
Okay.
nothing else to do.
Can you just write it and make a note of that so that I don't forget?
Okay. The room suddenly filled up, so I think maybe we,
I just had a simple question. Are you going to put this on next week's agenda, right? I'm sending this to all of you for amendments, and we'll look at it next week.
Yeah, we're gonna,
yeah, this
it'll
will
be
be,
the
This is the
25th though.
introduction.
It'll be-
Not next-
yeah,
the
2
25th.
weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. What are we doing next?
What are we doing? Well, I want to thank the Board of Selectmen for inviting us tonight so that the town can swear in its new Deputy Fire Chief, Stephen Winslow.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, we're gonna have Tara do the swearing in, I understand?
Would you like me to
It's
go?
done?
Yeah, would you go get Tara? That'd be
Yeah, she
great.
does the official swearing in. Stephen has 38 years on the Plympton Fire Department, and he's earned the position well, and at this time, we're prepared to fill that position. And he will do a great job, as he's done for 38 years already in various capacities, so it's a pleasure for us to have him on board as deputy.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, it's on camera, so
Oh,
you can replay it all the time.
okay.
Do we need to sign anything? Do you have an
I
appointment
gave a
slip or
letter of
anything?
intent to the Board of Selectmen, and Tara does the swearing in,
Okay,
town clerk.
so it's not an appointment that we need to make?
I don't believe so. I think it comes from my office, as far
Okay.
as I know.
Okay,
When it was my turn, they just threw a burlap bag over my head, and Joe and John grabbed me over here and threw me in front of Nancy Butler, so I don't remember.
all right.
Is this the letter that was written for him?
Well, we are very appreciative of
Okay.
all your service always, and thrilled to have you on board and continuing to serve the town. So,
Thank
much congratulations.
All right, there actually is an appointment slip.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's be official then. So I make a motion, we,
Excuse me, that's just a copy. Tara has the one that you signed.
Oh, it's already been signed?
No, that's Tara's.
Okay, all right, we can hold off.
we're not signing that?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. We'd be glad to sign it if we had the right copy. All right.
No, I don't think this is the
That's the
copy.
copy.
Okay.
And she's-
Well,
she's-
we'll pause for just a second.
That's why it says copy at the top. We went through that.
This room hasn't been this filled in quite a while.
Given this 11th day of January, so we haven't signed this or made the motion.
Going to be today.
Well, then we
Was
have to
just
sign it.
added. Yes, but she has the one that she said she's gonna stamp. She said, you guys sign it, and then she,
Oh, gotcha, she's got the
I just
original
did
that
that
we're
as
gonna
my
stamp.
original.
Gotcha. Well, we can still make the motion,
Yeah,
I would just sign
Why
it.
don't you make the motion?
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Stephen C. Winslow as Deputy Fire Chief indefinitely, given this 11th day of January 2016.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we're gonna make it official by each of us signing it. Tara is here to do the swearing in.
My daughters and my wife.
Okay.
Come on now.
Yeah, make sure the camera, you're sort of,
Yeah.
can they be facing the camera a little? That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Perfect.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Stephen C. Winslow,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and
all
perform
the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Deputy Fire Chief
as Deputy Fire Chief
in accordance with the
in
bylaws
accordance with the
of the
bylaws
Town of
of
Plympton
the Town of Plympton
and the laws of the
and the
Commonwealth.
laws of the Commonwealth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
And appreciate it for all you fellas coming in
Oh,
and,
yeah, thank you so much.
and all the smiles. It's,
Just
thank you.
guys, so you know, the deputy chief is the designee of the fire chief. In the fire chief's absence, he carries all the laws and all the powers of the fire chief in his absence. Stephen's a perfect guy for that. He knows the town well, he's been here a long time, knows the residents, he's served this community in a big way, so I am fully confident he will be able to manage that job in my absence.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you folks very
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that was so nice to have
Yeah.
so many from the department here.
good to have a celebration. All right.
All right, so there is the slip, so that can go back to Tara.
Okay, so,
Perfect.
we are, hopefully next week, we'll be able to finish up the policy and procedures manual, a really good start, and some of the restructuring that we're doing onward. We received last week the FinCom budget request, and we had asked Dale to put together some preliminary things.
Okay, you want to do that now? Let's do that.
Yeah?
All right, pretty much level funded. I don't know about insurance yet because, you know, that comes in. I'm sure there'll be some increase there.
Level funded or level service?
Level funded, actually, or with certain notable exceptions. And that's why, that's where the rubber meets the road for the board.
Okay.
The blanket insurance, again, there may be some increases there. I don't anticipate huge ones, but it is a big chunk of money that we pay, so it'll be fine. Utilities, I haven't reviewed the utility numbers yet. It's really hard to tell until the winter's over how it's going to shake out. But it looks like the amount that we funded last year will probably get us through next year. We're not adding any new buildings at this point, so it wouldn't be affected. And of course, the proverbial 800-pound gorilla is town council fees. And that's where I think, honestly, I think that you probably should increase that line item and by whatever reasonable amount you think you can, but I would certainly make that. It just, for the amount of money that's, and it's been, since I've been here, it's the same amount, the same $47,000 line item. It's been breached a few times because you never know what's going to happen every year, and so that, you know, it has cost more money. But I think realistically, it's going to consistently start costing more than that every year. So there probably should be a more realistic number in there. And/or, I mean, you can discuss it with the finance committee either way. I mean, they can hold a certain amount of money in reserve, they can beef up reserve funds up by a little bit, and, you know, if you need it, it can be a reserve transfer at the end of the year, as long as everybody's understanding about that. But that would be, and that would be it. I mean, oh, and the other is selectmen's salaries. It's a, I think they really made a mistake. They had it as a $3 line item, but I think that's probably not what it was. I think it's $600 is what it is. And that's what it is now, and I don't know how that gets divvied up or anything else, but, because I was under the impression it was a greater amount several years back, and then one selectman didn't take the salary one year, and another one didn't take the salary the following year, and then they literally dropped the budget to that amount. It's a small amount of money anyway, but
Last year, I think at least or not last year, 2 years ago, two of us didn't take salary. And, I mean, I for one would be glad to forego the either $200 or $600.
yeah, so I mean, that's a board decision, and obviously you have to.
Haven't gotten paid yet.
What about just putting it back down to $3?
Well, it's at 600. I mean, I can carry that across, and I don't know however that gets split up or not split up, or nobody takes it and it stays there. Or, I mean, you could easily, as a board vote, to say zero the line.
We can't zero it for the Plymouth County, because we actually, I think years ago, I was on the board that took it down to 3. And we had to, it was $1 a piece, and that's the lowest we can go for the Plymouth County retirement.
Really?
Yeah, we can't zero it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad to take $1, another $1 here. I mean, and I think each of us are more than welcome to some.
And I don't see any huge changes in selectmen expense. Again, there may be something I haven't seen yet, but again, it's not a lot. We don't have any major things happening.
Right.
So the big deal, we meet with FinCom on the 29th. They want this in actually before that.
We
But,
meet the 29th?
yeah, that's our turn, 29th of February.
Oh, February.
Oh, February, okay.
So we have time.
Yeah, right, but they want it ahead of time. And the only other thing that the board may want to consider, and I know several people have recommended this, myself among them, is the purchase and setup of permitting software for the town. It's kind of a universal software that drags everybody in together. Everybody's on the same line. People can actually apply for permits, licenses, all of that stuff online. It makes it very easy to keep track of things. You know, if you're in the process of going through building a building and you have a building permit for that building, and there's a certain sequence of events depending on what kind of building it is that you have to go through. First of all, the program software lays that out as to what it is. It notifies the correct people. It also, when that board has signed off on something, then it's noted that that board has signed off on that particular aspect of it, and it may move on from there, or it may not. It depends. It would depend entirely on what it is. The software itself it's fairly expensive, and
What's fairly expensive?
$8,000-$10,000 as a capital expense. Now, this is just round numbers, but it's the annual fee, because it has to be, they have to run their upgrades and so on, and the annual fees are several thousand at least too, so.
Well, and the other annual piece is we have boards, commissions, and committees that are already overwhelmed with clerical stuff, and they would want more administrative time to set it up. But that sounds like a wonderful thing. We trip over the problem of the sequence of permits all the time. I personally don't feel like it's the year to be asking for that kind of money.
I don't think we can when FinCom has recommended, level services.
Yeah, well, I mean, the initial purchase would be a capital expense, but it would there's an operating component to it, which would increase the computer maintenance line item budget, so. At some point, what it does is it saves the town from actually having to hire people or add more hours to schedules,
Yeah.
because the stuff is being done manual is crunched by the computer at that point. Again, it's just a suggestion. It's
We've talked a bit about regionalizing IT stuff, and I
Right.
mean, is this maybe something that we could do?
Well, the software becomes rather, I mean, there's basics, but it becomes rather unique to whatever situation it's in, whatever town. All towns are a little bit different, so that when they're writing the software, I mean, they have the basic package, but when they write the software, it would be different. So regionalizing that probably isn't as easy. The state does offer, after a fashion, something similar to that, but the private guys are much better at it.
Is there
But-
ever any grant money available for anything like this?
I honestly don't know. Not through some of the grants that I'm aware of. There may be.
Okay.
I mean, there may be somewhere along the line.
So you just said the state offers something, but the private is better. But can we start with the state?
Well, I mean, you
I
can't.
mean, that gets a lot of stuff already going, and then move it over if we find that this is cumbersome or...
It's, but there's a fee involved with the state as well. I mean, it's not, nobody's doing it for nothing. That's the
Right.
situation. I mean, I can look into that and see where it is, but again, it may be the difference between, something and something times 1.5 as far as the expense goes,
Yeah, I agree that this is not the year.
Okay, all right,
Do it,
fine,
but-
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I just don't think that financially we're
All right,
in a position to look at it right now.
okay.
Question, would this be internally used for the town, or would there be a public portal so that?
Yeah, there would be a public portal people could use it on. People could basically, if they wanted to, get a permit for a septic system, they would go on and they would make the application online. It would transmit right to the, and so that would, in that case, that would trigger. I actually asked them, we have a chair here, but that triggers certain that sort of an application triggers certain things. Conservation for one, zoning, always zoning, but zoning, conservation, so that as soon as the permit's issued for that, to put in a septic system, then there's all this, they have to come in with plans, they have to jump through the hoops for the Board of Health. And they also have to be cleared by zoning and by conservation. And there may be something else I'm not even aware of. But the software automatically flags that, notifies those two boards, transmits it, not notifies it, just makes it available to them. Oh, this has happened, so we need a determination on this, and and you're on. And then when the zoning officer comes back and says, I've reviewed it and everybody's encroaching, and the Concom comes back and says, yes, it doesn't impact the wetlands, and they sign off, then they know that going forward.
What's this called?
There's two products out there. I'm not even sure. Acela is one of them. I'll send
Well,
you the
is
link.
it, is there like a general term for it? What type of?
It's general permitting and licensing software.
Okay, so it's permitting and licensing software.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it works the same way, with licensing. There are certain licenses that come up every year, some don't, and it keeps track of all
Okay.
of that, and again, and would, reports out. In other words, it would report out, in this case, debris.
So,
You have to use
We have
licenses
it in the
to do
parking lot. You have something briefly on this, since it's going to the parking lot? But
Yeah, I do. The board is not aware, but I know the Board of Health spends a fair amount of time. As a matter of fact, that's where I was just earlier. This is a complaint from a resident, and I guess some folks may be living illegally over the garage and renting out 4 rooms in the house. I had a conversation a week and a half ago with an attorney on 2 rental homes in the town. He told me that, we're all set, it's a failed septic system, we took care of that, we got a plumbing permit and an electrical permit. And so I run down a building, they pulled nothing, and the house is still condemned by the Board of Health, so, and they're trying to rent it out. And the one next door they're trying to rent out is a 6-bedroom rental with a 4-bedroom system. This is just the tip of the iceberg that I spend time on, and I know other boards do too, running back and forth. Do they have a permit? And oh, by the way, that they didn't pull any permits for all of the work they did. So you know, it would be invaluable to enforce our own bylaws, and save a lot of time, as far as I'm concerned. I'm 100% behind it, and I would put something else off to get that,
Send it to
to make, for better coordination between all of the boards. I think it's that important.
So noted. I mean, I think this coordination between boards, we all stumble over it continually and probably will continue to. I totally agree it'd be a great thing. I just can't imagine this year being the year to do it. I'm actually even less concerned about the initial costs, the annual costs, the administrative costs. I mean, if we have town salaried people, or if we have workers in this building that will need more hours to do it, it just, the snowballing costs. So.
Well, it'd be nice if it was less hours because of this, but I'm gonna look into it and see if I can find something that would be more reasonable, and, you know, we'll see if it's something we could swing, but I mean, as it stands right now, it just seems like it's pretty excessive, but it is important, and this is something that's been on the radar for a long time, that the need for this.
I'm just curious, some of our stuff comes from Mike. Does he have any ability to do any of this, or?
And, well, again, yeah, you probably could write something in Access, Microsoft Access, that may have some of those capabilities. I'm not sure how many. But again, you would have to pay a programmer to sit down and write that, and it would, you know, at the end of the day, it would probably cost the same as, you know, buying. Because as part of this, they come in. I can arrange to have these vendors who do this, you know, come in and talk to you. I mean, to give you an idea of what, you know, what the whole process is, and you know, you can, that may be able to make a more informed decision. But if you're of the opinion that we probably can't afford it at all, then there's probably no sense to doing that at this point.
Well, I think at some point, we're gonna have to spend the money, because this is important, but it would be nice to maybe do a little bit of checking. And who uses this locally? Do you know any towns that use this?
I don't know of any right in the immediate area. I know there are some that do, though. I can find out.
But, you know, I wonder if this is something that we could, you know, with some purchasing power, you know, with Kingston, Halifax, maybe Carver, look into doing something like this and seeing if, you know, we could get a better price. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's a possibility.
Well, I've got an Old Colony Planning Council meeting next week, and I can bring this up then.
And Old
too.
Colony would probably, they'd be very familiar with it. They would have more information on the state program for sure. And you know, they'd be able to answer a lot of questions. But it's a very big time saver, and it's interesting to keeping these things focused.
Well, it's streamlined, it just streamlines everything where you're not wasting time and.
Right.
Okay, well, you know, with your permission, I can talk about it at Old Colony Planning Council, see if there's anything we can do with this, and, yeah.
Permission granted.
Okay, all right.
Other than that, the board doesn't have any other capital budget requests for, that they'd like to put forward. I mean, I would assume that the public safety building is already in that queue, so it has been, I know, from the police chief, and it has been from the Board of Selectmen in the past. I'll just submit it as a,
Well, let's keep talking about it. We have, I think the budget requests are submitted by February 2nd, are they?
yeah.
We will put.
Submittal deadline is February 5th.
All right, so we will certainly talk about our budget requests again at the next meeting. I think we do want to think about the legal line a little bit more. The challenge there is you never know what's going to come up. I mean, we had a personnel issue last year that probably cost us $15,000 that, you know, we couldn't have expected. And I mean, one way to do it, of course, is to make the reasonable budget that we have made, and at worst, if these so-called emergency things come up, then it becomes a reserve transfer thing if we go over. I think this board has been especially aware and frugal in the last year, and we have been incredibly cautious about.
I mean, so far this year on the legal line, we're in good shape. I mean, I wouldn't say good shape. I mean, we went through half the year and used about half the budget.
Which is,
So
But
we're,
it's-
so we're on track.
But it's, yeah, we're on track. But I mean, again, like you say, I mean, you just have no idea. You just have no idea from year to year what's going to come up. And you may want to do it as a contingent. You may want to say, well, okay, fine, we're going to have we can use this as add it to the FinCom reserve with their understanding that this is in there as a legal contingency, that, that that the money is put in there for that purpose. And at the end of the year, they can do whatever they want with it, but I mean, during the year, and it may be, because we get billed at the end of the year for that.
well, we'll need to continue to think about that. We'll have another discussion on it.
Yeah, because I'm
whether-
still looking at fixed costs too, and I
Okay,
haven't made a
very
lot of
good.
progress
Okay.
with that, so,
All right.
more to come.
All right, more to come. So the proposed marijuana grow facility, we talked last meeting about discussing at this meeting, seeking public input at the January 25th meeting, which is our next meeting 2 weeks from now.
I had only heard from one person, it was the chief, and he just wanted me to share that he is adamantly opposed, and that there may be cost associated with this proposal for the town, where with the alarms and everything, the security, he would be required to respond, and there could be costs associated with that. So I asked him to work up a cost spreadsheet for us for our meeting on the 25th, so that we would have that information then.
I did notice that he thought it was right next to the school, and,
Who, the chief?
yeah, there was a paragraph in there that it was, yeah, I can find it here.
Yeah, he did mention that he was concerned about proximity to the school, though my understanding was it's not very near the school at all.
It's not near the school at all.
Here, here's the letter.
Yeah. Another,
Yeah, he didn't share that today, and I,
another concern was adjacent to Dennett School, but that turns out to not be so.
not be so.
So,
And could any of the costs be passed on to the grower consortium?
He thought that he would need to have 2 officers on all the time, so that when someone was available to respond if there was an incident there, and that would be a significant cost. He would have to add another officer. So that, with benefits and salary, that would be substantial, and in my opinion, that would far they're not going to cover it with the fees that are proposed.
And I'm curious, didn't Mr. Randall say that he spoke with the police chief?
Well, he did, but the chief said he did not tell him that he supported it. He told him that he was opposed to it, but I don't think that Jeff conveyed how strongly the chief
Right.
opposed
That's not what I
the proposal.
so then a couple questions. Do we want to seek public input at the meeting a couple weeks from now, or can we hold off on that, since this was really just an introduction and we're not really being asked to make our own decision yet?
Well, we are being asked to either support,
Yes.
oppose, or non-oppose.
Right.
So we are being asked to do that.
No, we
by
are
Jeff.
being asked to do that, but
Right.
my sense was that there's no sort of imminent need to make that decision.
No, I don't think there is an imminent need. And my question I just had for Jeff on the 25th was that I just wanted to make sure that he would not take any action until his application for an RMD was approved, by the state. If in fact this board or the town supported it or didn't oppose his proposal.
So, do we want to seek public input for the 25th? And if so, how are we going to do that?
Well, people can come to the meeting on the 25th.
Yeah, how are we going to let them know?
Cable.
Oh, there you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you, right
Yes.
I
there.
did happen to write.
Yeah, I saw that for the 25th. So,
Maybe I misunderstood.
yeah. Yeah, we'd love to have people come in on the 25th, and, because, like I said, nobody has called me or emailed me outside of the chief. I think the meeting may have just run recently, I saw it on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear what people have to say about it.
So, and before this meeting is over, we'll decide what time that will be. I
Okay.
think we're gonna have a hearing on the 25th, and we're gonna have to fit that in.
Okay.
So, we will, on the 25th, have on the agenda the opportunity for citizens of town to let us know what they think about a marijuana grow facility. I'm not sure we'll make a final decision at that point, but we'd certainly like input, and hopefully, people watching this will let others know, and people reading the newspaper would let others know that we'll seek input. And the originator of this proposal will be here, and actually, will you remember to let him know, Jeff, that we are meeting, and again, in a few moments, we'll decide on exactly what time that'll be.
He was gonna also possibly have speakers
He was, yeah, gonna
Yeah,
bring
he's
his
gonna bring
consultants
him.
with
Yeah,
him
which
to
would be
answer
great.
questions.
and some advisors.
Okay. So, a couple things to just get through quickly. The agenda item of posting procedures the posting procedures of combined open and executive sessions. So we have added, or I have added, when we make the agendas, the reasons for each of the executive session items. Tara has now listed on the website when there is a notice of meeting that it clearly shows whether it's executive session. So I think we've covered that. I haven't checked with Tara. I'll make sure that she's comfortable with the resolutions to those issues. And then hopefully another relatively quick item, Area 58 Community Access Media Broadcast Schedule. We did receive an email from a concerned citizen concerned about the schedule being wrong a couple weeks ago about when the Board of Selectmen meeting was broadcast. I did check with the studio, and it turned out there was a death in the family of the primary playback person, and that error on the posted schedule was apparently a one-time thing. It is true that the broadcast or the broadcast of these meetings, it often takes a little bit of time before their broadcast. I would remind everyone, though, that the quickest way and the surest way for very timely access is to go to YouTube, where all the meetings are posted. Most importantly, maybe, the Area 58 studio is hopefully a few weeks away from having a brand-new website. All the schedules up to date will be on the website. The website will also be a portal to all the meetings. There'll probably be a tab that you just hit on Plympton Selectmen, and all the meetings will be right there for access on YouTube, and then a much more up-to-date schedule. So we know the system isn't perfect yet. The website is expected to help a great deal.
And they're working on it.
They are working on that. I've seen the mock-up version, and it's beautiful. It's it's very straightforward, and it should be a good improvement. All right. So we were expecting, or we did note that we're going to have a animal control issue. Why don't we jump into that now and get that one out of the way? So, where to begin? All this paper is on this one dog issue. Interesting challenge with a lot going on in our lives. So let me just give a quick chronology, and then hopefully we can get to some punchlines. There was some correspondence that we received in mid-December about a problem about a dog on the Plympton-Halifax line on West Street bothering the kids at the Winnetoxet School, which is which is on the Halifax side of the line. We asked Dale to check with the animal control officer, asked him to explore. We knew this had been a problem a year previous. We did get a response from the animal control officer. The response was more about the request for a new shelter and the request for a leash law, and not really so responsive to the issue at hand. We, last week, were given a letter from Charlie Selig, the town administrator of in Halifax. That letter was dated December 30th. We got it January 4th. It described really a formal complaint to Board of Selectmen and laid out what the Halifax Board of Selectmen would hope would happen. So we discussed making contact with the animal control officer to proceed on this, and also potentially making contact with the owner of the dog. What followed through the rest of the week was kind of challenging in terms of difficult communications, cross communications. I spoke with Frank Bush, the animal control officer. He felt that everything that he could do had been done. He also felt at one point that unless the dog was actually caught out on the loose, that he wasn't able to proceed. As the week progressed, it turned out that he had not received the December 30th letter from Charlie Selig, which is a very good letter. It laid out what the problem was, which Plympton bylaw he felt had been violated, and really laid out the path to correcting it. Unfortunately, Frank didn't get that letter. I checked his mailbox over the weekend and found that his mailbox here actually had the letter in it, so he only received it Monday. Along the way, by Friday, when not much was happening and was feeling pretty obligated to get this moving, I did call and speak to the owners. They did talk about the dog occasionally breaking out of the house. I did ask whether the dog was licensed. They said no. This had been a problem a year before. They said it was kind of hard to get in to license them. I reminded them that there were evening hours here on Monday and that we very much hoped they'd be in by Monday. I asked if the dog had an up-to-date rabies vaccine, which is another piece of our bylaws, and which was a question that Charlie had asked. Apparently the dog had not been a year ago. The owner told me on Friday that the dog was up to date on rabies. I asked them for a call over the weekend letting me know when that had happened and the duration of the vaccine. I did not hear from the owners. Today, Frank wrote a restraining order on the dog. He wrote it for the reason of not being licensed, and my concern at this point is the complaint from the Halifax Board of Selectmen was not on not being licensed, but rather on I think disturbing the peace is what it is called in our bylaws. So forgive me, that's a lot of words, but that brings us up to present. Punchline. We have a dog that apparently has been a problem multiple times to school kids next door. We haven't been able to move the animal control officer along on the specific letter of from Charlie Selig. Here's my proposal. I would like to propose that we ask the animal control officer to investigate the complaint. These are the procedures laid out in our bylaws, to investigate the complaint and then report to the Board of Selectmen with the intent that we would be prepared to hold a public meeting on this complaint 2 weeks from now. I would propose that we ask Mr. Bush to do this expeditiously, to give a 10-day notice to the owner of the animal. We'd have to get a certified letter to them by Friday. The one good thing in all of this is Frank did put a restraining order on the dog, which means for the next 14 days, the dog needs to be restrained. I think when and if we got to the point of the hearing in 2 weeks, the question would be whether we put a permanent restraining order that the dog had to be kept under control. It's a miserable situation. I have feared for the 3 years I've been a selectman that a dog issue would come up. I spent most of my life being a doggy advocate. But surely school kids and their parents can't be harassed and be frightened. And I think we need the complainants in, and we need the owners in, and we need to hear what everybody has to say and make some decisions.
Yep, I agree, but I would recommend that Frank would either amend his order or come up with add to the order that this is for, the dog be restrained or muzzled for disturbing the peace, possibly even Section 11 restraint or muzzling, because this involves a school.
This restraint and muzzling, as I read this, would be our action. The first step in this is which complaint we're dealing with. The complaint could be one of two: Section 10, which is harassing; Section 12, or Section 10, which is disturbing the peace, or Section 12, which is nuisance.
Well, actually, it's both.
And it is both. And,
so why not do both?
I'd like to talk to Frank tomorrow, ask him to do his investigation, give a report to us. We really act on the report of the animal control officer. I mean, I am comfortable that and in fact, the complaint from the Board of Selectmen is for Section 10, and they actually cite Section 10.
Right. So
So-
I think that would be more appropriate than the licensing. I mean,
Absolutely.
certainly the licensing is very important, but the dog is a nuisance, and that's the main reason that we're, holding the hearing. And then, we find out in the investigation that it's also not licensed, and there's other issues as well.
So the motion, to be clear on it, would be to speak to Frank, ask him to do the investigation as described in the bylaws, particularly on Section 10, that he report judiciously to this board. That'd be one motion. I think the second motion would be, based on Frank's report, I would like to ask the selectmen to give me permission to, assuming Frank affirms that there is a valid complaint, I would like to ask the selectmen to give me the permission to call a hearing for 2 weeks from today, and so that I can inform the people involved in a timely manner. So those are the two motions.
I'll second your motions.
Any more discussion about the motions? Sorry for all those words. So all those in favor of each of those motions?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any more comments?
Yeah, is there anything where there's no rabies certificates?
Fines.
Okay, so there's just fines, but I would, let's see.
I mean, that's going to be another violation.
Yeah,
if
that's
they
gonna be
can't
another
document it.
violation, but that doesn't warrant any type of muzzling or anything in here. No, doesn't look like it,
No.
just fines.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I'm not sure if you can answer it. I drove down there, and I was trying to ascertain where the dog lived.
I didn't find the line, I was
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's a
The
sign that
line's
says.
there, I found the
Yeah.
I
line.
was in the dark.
There's the sign, and to the left of the sign is the school, to the right of the sign is the driveway down to the house, which is
So
203.
this is 203 back here then?
No, or,
Because at the end of that driveway, it says that it's number 1 East Road.
yeah, which is Halifax. No, I assumed, and I believe the number's out there, that on the Plympton side, then there's a driveway there, which is
Because
203.
this is 202,
Oh,
this house here.
Really?
Yes, the Blueberry Place.
it's 202.
It's 202, so I assumed this, and I couldn't read the number, it's too
No,
small.
I think it's the next one down. As I'm remembering.
And the box there says that it's number 1 East Street.
Huh,
So then I'm just wondering if it's a dog from this property, and he's really leaving his property, it's not even adjacent.
My understanding, maybe I got it wrong, was that they were right next door, that there are woods between the two. In fact, that's what the owner said to me. We live next door, but there are woods separated.
Okay, I had to find that, but I'll look
Well,
again.
Frank can
Yeah,
that.
Frank
Yeah.
can do it.
Part of my concern is that all this happened a year ago, and there were warnings, discussions, and I do feel like the owners had a fair amount of notice. Maybe this is more for our hearing in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we can find a way to take care of the school kids, not overly restrict the dog, but certainly have things taken care of and have the owners clearly understand the importance of this whole
Well,
thing.
the dog has to be kept under their control at all times. That's what the bylaws say.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So
So what
somehow-
time?
All right, so now we figure the times. So we have a marijuana discussion and a dog hearing. Shall we do the dog hearing at 6:30, invite people in on marijuana at 7?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good amount of time. Yeah, just kicking back to 7.
So 6:30 for marijuana?
No,
No,
6:30
for
for the dog hearing.
Doggy, and 7 for marijuana. And may it be that then we are able to get back to,
Is it 7 or 7:30 from now?
we're gonna do dog at 6:30. Hopefully we'll do marijuana at 7.
7.
I would hope that a half hour would be enough for the doggy issue.
I think it will be.
In a lot of ways, I think it's pretty straightforward. There is an issue of a little bit, well, I'll just leave it at that.
So Frank will let them know when the hearing is, or did you say you were going to call them and tell them about the hearing?
I'm gonna ask Frank to do the investigation. Just so I know it's done, I think I will check with the parties, I will check with Charlie Silleg, I will check with the school, and I will check with the owners.
Okay. Are we required, when we hold a hearing, to do any, like, certified mail or anything like that?
Yes, well, actually, I have a document from Copeland and Page, how to conduct a public hearing, and it talks in a situation like this, that there's no set amount of time, preferably 10 days, certified letter. I think that would have to go out or be received by Friday. I will do my darndest to deal with all of this tomorrow. Really, the triggering event is we have to get Frank to do his investigation and get the report to us.
Right.
And I'll make clear that I really want to do the hearing in 2 weeks because the dog at least is under restraint, under the restraining order for
We
those
have
2
to,
weeks.
yeah, it's only a 14-day restraint.
Yeah, otherwise there is no, there's nothing in the bylaws about the certified public letter.
Okay.
Or the certified letter.
Another, I don't know if this is really an option, but he's under restraint for 14 days if he issues the other restraining order
Oh, we
after that.
Could do that at the end of the
It
week.
extends the
Yes.
restraint, gives us a little more time.
Yeah, okay,
It's a possibility.
okay. Well,
When did he do the order of restraint?
that was
Today.
today. The thing, honestly, that bothers me is Charlie's letter was a really good letter because it laid out exactly what needed to be done. There is a complaint. It is this bylaw in your bylaws. What we would like is find out about license, find out about rabies certificate, and do an investigation. Unfortunately, that isn't what Frank did today. And
Well, he can.
he can, he
Right,
still
he
can
can.
move forward. I would have,
Okay, so the main thing is, he's ordered the dog restrained for 2 weeks.
yep,
And we will hold a hearing in 2 weeks, and then within that time, we will find out, we'll confirm the licensing. And we can let Charlie know now that the dog has been ordered restrained. We
I
should
will let
probably-
him,
yeah.
I'll let him know tomorrow.
And then we just need to stick with the timetable, otherwise we're gonna,
Yep, okay,
the 14 days will expire. Okay,
okay. Oh, that got rid of a lot of paper over here. Solar updates?
No, same status as last week.
Okay, great. Board goal and priorities. Public safety?
Public safety, not really much has changed. I believe I'm going to cancel the meeting for this week due to a lack of information that we would need to discuss. So our next meeting is the 20th at 6 o'clock. Let's just say I'm 90% sure. I'm waiting to hear back from my committee in case anybody has any burning issue that they want to discuss, but.
Okay, great. Our blessed list.
The blessed list.
What do we call it? What's it called? A consent agenda? No, you probably don't want to do that. The consent agenda where you just say, fine, let's go on.
Yeah, check and check.
I think that happens in the nonprofit world.
Yeah,
You just
I think,
lump the
right.
whole thing together.
Yeah, done.
All right, go right ahead.
Dale, how about fixed cost spreadsheet?
I'm still working on it. I told you I would, but I'm not sure now. Isn't Community Compact doing that exact same thing?
They're looking for that information for the, what we're gonna be doing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, I think they're looking for us to gather as much of that as we can. All right, so regarding the Community Compact, we have a kickoff meeting the 19th at 8:30 a.m. It'll be an informal meeting followed by meeting with department heads. I sent Dale and you guys the spreadsheet. They're looking for 45 minutes with Jim Mulcahy to talk about DPW issues, and then 45 minutes with the business agent, the IT manager, and someone from the Dennett School Committee to talk about school CIP issues. And then they would be meeting with department heads in half-an-hour increments. They're going to be sending a team here so that they can have meetings happening in 2 places at once to try to do this as quickly as possible. And then we'll be meeting with them on 2/2 at 6 p.m. to talk about the plan, the results from the meetings, and any questions we have. So far, Susan Ossoff is planning on coming. John Trainer will be here, so I'm going to have to post a Community Compact Committee meeting. So I'll have to make sure that the Community Compact Committee all get sworn in prior to this meeting on 2/2. And then probably us on 2/2, and then Susan was going to invite Finance Committee members as well, so we may have to post a FinCom meeting if there's enough, if they have a quorum too.
And us on the 19th.
Yeah, and us on, well, we won't have to post it on the 19th because we're just, it's an informational meeting, we're not going to be taking any votes. They're basically talking to us, we're not doing any talking. So they're just kind of laying out the process. I can certainly post it if you'd like, but I can post it. We can post it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well just in this era of.
Sure.
And we did play a little bit with the schedule so that I can meet with them.
Absolutely.
as
We
Public safety
can-
at 9, so I
yes.
can get to my
Yeah,
office.
I've got, it's essentially what you sent over. I changed it a little bit.
Feel free.
And the only other thing is that there are people I haven't heard back from, most notably at this point, the school, so.
Okay.
I haven't heard back.
Hopefully that they've got somebody that's available to
Well, I
come,
mean,
even if it's just the business manager that,
They wanted business manager and IT manager.
yeah, they wanted both,
Yeah.
but.
And I mean, I may be able to get that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I sent a letter over to Joy Blackwood and asked her, I said, can you
Perfect.
arrange that? Because she's going to have to authorize them to leave.
Right,
to come over. So,
right.
and there were a couple of others I hadn't heard back from. Most everybody's on board.
Awesome.
And when it's done, I'll send it.
Perfect, yeah.
So actually, CPC is one of the ones on the 19th. What are they going to ask me?
What expenses you have, they're gonna show you how to fill out the CIP request form,
Oh.
and they're gonna talk about, what you have in the pipeline for, projects and that. So
Cool.
that, yeah. Yeah,
I know the answer to that.
perfect, yeah, should be good.
Actually, totally, somewhat unrelatedly, but I'll just mention CPC last week did approve an application that we received from Open Space Committee. I'll tell you more about it along the way.
Okay.
That'll be on the town meeting warrant. town meeting.
Awesome. Okay, so that's all we've got for the community compact. Really, it looks like we're in pretty good shape here for the list. There's really nothing to report. Is there anything going on with Spring Street? Any meetings? Spring Street Carver, that,
Yeah, actually, coming up in February, we're gonna be meeting.
Okay.
I think they're waiting. Yeah, they're very interested in going forward with that three-town joint FinCom meeting that they're gonna be holding. I think it's tentatively set for February 4th. And that's a pivot point for the whole thing. I've got a new set of information that just came back from the planning committee that's doing it for Carver, and most of the information is there. You know, it's just they're talking about different regional possibilities.
Can you forward that out to us?
Yeah, sure, I will. You just got it today. I'll forward it.
perfect.
Okay. So Dale, we ask your pardon that much of your report
Yeah,
we.
you've gone right through everything I had.
Cool. All right. Correspondence?
Sure. All right. From the MBTA, there's a advisory board meeting January 11th at 9:30 in Boston at the State Transportation Building. So I don't believe we have a rep from Plympton. But they'll, I'm sure, let us know what's going on. We've got an agenda here. It's like Fiscal and Management Control Board's first annual report, proposal to increase fares, winter readiness plan, drop trips end of year report, and looks like that's about it. So that should be an interesting meeting, being that they are having some difficulties again this year. It hasn't even really snowed yet. Okay, from Norton EMA CERT, this looks like it is the annual January dinner meeting and election of officers is Thursday, January 21st. CERT, this is our, an emergency management type group, isn't it? CERT?
Do you know, Dale?
What is CERT? C-E-R-T.
We do see
got
those
it
letters
back.
sometimes.
Emergency communication.
Okay,
That's
thank
it.
you, thank you. I thought it was something to do with emergency. Okay, so it looks like it's Thursday, January 21st in Westport.
Nice town.
Yeah, beautiful town. Westport is a beautiful town. Okay, and this is from the same person, but this is project officer for a search and rescue exercise scheduled for January 23rd, Saturday, January 23rd, and I'll make arrangements for a Southeast Mass EMDA member to participate in the event of severe weather. The exercise will be held the following day. So this is, it looks like it's going to be at Bridgewater State University is where the exercise will be held. So that's just kind of an FYI. All right, from MMA, the annual town meeting, and you were planning on attending. Weren't you going to go? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
both senators, the governor, are all going to speak.
Perfect. All right, and then SSCAC, South Shore Community Action Council. This is what?
Listing of the services that they have provided us
Oh,
over
isn't
some
that
time
nice?
frame.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, let's see, during FY 2005, a total of 251 Plympton households, then it says duplicated, I'm not sure what that means, were served from October 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2015. Through the many programs, 38 households got fuel assistance, 6 had burner repair replacement, private utility funds for weatherization, it looks like one for that. Rent mortgage utility rearrangement program, 2 households took advantage of that. Consumer Aid, the Attorney General, 1 household. Head Start and All Early Education, 3 households. Individual Development Account Program, IDA, 1 household. SNAP, I'm not sure that is that some type of food?
Yeah.
5. Transportation, intertown medical and other trips in life-equipped vans, 189, wow. And volunteer income tax assistance, 5. So they've been busy in the town of Plympton.
They were in
Did anybody
about
want to look at that?
Give a presentation last
Yeah, they
year.
were in, maybe a year ago, South Shore Community Action Council. They're a
Cool.
nonprofit.
It's interesting, yeah.
Various funding sources, and they do nice things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, it says dollars expended, $33,275 to do all of that. And it looks like many of the things, they didn't charge.
We actually voted to offer a donation or a grant, and we ran into all kinds of sort of legal issues, and it became a problem, but it was a nice presentation. There's been just leave it at that.
Very nice. Okay, from Eversource, they're going to be doing some tree work in Plympton for the next 4 weeks. It looks like Barnes Tree Service will be doing the work. If you have questions about this upcoming work, please call 1-800-592-2000. So that's Eversource. And then from the Plympton Halifax Express, Growing Pot in Plympton, and that was a nice colorful graphic. Let's see. And lots of pictures. There's an article about, from Halifax, about the menacing dog that we're going to be holding the hearing regarding. And I think that wasn't that about it for Plympton? Oh, nice picture here of the Plympton Library honors volunteers with a holiday party. That's a really nice picture with 2 of the Plympton police officers in there with the library volunteers and
And the Girl Scouts.
yeah,
and the
Girl Scouts.
Oboe
and-
player. And
Yeah, very nice.
Librarian.
And really nice looking cookies.
Cookies and fruit. Yeah, so that was, all right. So that's it for correspondence.
I had one more I just want to check on, actually. This is from MEGA, the Massachusetts Education and Government Association, a training seminar. This is probably different than what you asked me about, but it's a day-long training, loss control, claims on workman's comp, on safety. You had once expressed an interest. Yours was more an MIA, but does this have interest to you? In any event, I'll hand it to you, February 9th, 8:30 to 1 p.m. With your background in insurance,
Doesn't look like there's a fee.
it isn't a fee.
Free is good.
Bree had expressed an interest in MIAA, the insurance thing. Unfortunately, that's at the MMA, and it would cost $160 for an hour and a half thing. And
We have to tell you that.
Ooh, this is good.
Ooh.
HR 101,
Maybe you'll
Essential
go.
Workplace Policies. This workshop will provide a general overview of policies organizations should have in place, including drug-free workplace, harassment, discrimination, violence, mass domestic leave policy, and all the, interesting. So there may be some good stuff that, that comes out of this that we're gonna wanna look at.
so at least, Bree, take a look at it, see if you're interested. If you
What's the
aren't,
date of that?
great.
Tuesday in Norwood.
February
Tuesday,
9th.
February 9th.
You guys could probably teach that seminar.
They're
don't know about
discriminating against you. Everything's on Tuesday.
everything's on Tuesday, yeah.
I know, yeah.
Okay, good, running out of steam, thank God. Dates to remember, next Selectmen meeting is 2 weeks from now, and then actually in February, I think we'll end up with 3 meetings because one of them is President's Day, but then, or actually there are 5 Mondays in February, believe it or not. Oh, it's leap year. So the next meetings would be 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, and 4 weeks from now. I will just mention in passing, because it's on my mind, is it is likely that towards the end of March and maybe the first week in April, I will probably miss a couple of Mondays. It's a little bit funky time because it's when the warrant closes, and unfortunately I have a commitment from 3 years ago that I may have to attend. So I'm just sort of forewarning you ahead of time, and I'll certainly put in the time before and after. All right. Anything else before we go to minutes? All right. Minutes of 12:21.
You can have it if you want.
I had nothing. You had something.
Very, very minimal. That's it. And that's not necessary. I mean, it's just the word for, you applied for free technical assistance.
Okay.
But it's not.
Tell her.
I'll just hand it to you.
All right, and I had,
I have no amendments?
no, you do.
No, you do. She's gonna
Yeah.
hand you something.
Yeah. Plympton Planning Council, site plan review, that doesn't make sense.
Plympton Planning Council.
Correspondence.
Oh,
That's under correspondence.
Yeah, under correspondence.
so it must not be Plympton. First of all, it's probably,
Old Colony Planning
Yeah,
Council?
yeah.
Site plan review?
if it were them, it would have been this,
Where am I?
is that the electricity thing?
I don't know.
Well, maybe.
Do you want to check, do you have the correspondence from 12/21?
I have the whole tape.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just not sure what that is. And then, I believe that Officer Cranshaw is actually a sergeant. I think both he and Officer Terry are sergeants, aren't they?
I have no idea.
I think they're both sergeants.
Art?
Officer Terry will be promoted February 1st. Sergeant Crenshaw is a sergeant.
Is a sergeant, okay. So, this was the motion to make Officer Terry a sergeant. So, and it's Terry is spelled T-E-R-I.
It should have been.
Yeah.
You know what, I think it keeps correcting it on the.
Yeah, so it's in there a
autocorrect.
couple of times as T-E-R-Y, and just change Officer Cranshaw to Sergeant Cranshaw. Okay,
Okay.
and that's it. So I just don't know what that correspondence was.
All right, can we vote on this? or-
Should we just strike it? I mean,
Yeah,
how
I-
critical would it be?
Yeah, I don't think
Let's strike
it's
it.
critical, so let's just strike it.
So are you
Wanna take
the
it totally
keeper
out?
of?
Take it totally
the-
out.
You're the keeper of?
What did you have,
Just
Colleen?
I'll use yours. I'm not-
Under compact grants and proposals, just add the word for,
Page 2.
page 2.
Page.
We're not applying free technical assistance, we're applying for free technical assistance.
Okay, to apply for.
Yeah, we
Yep,
don't already have
gotcha,
it.
Gotcha, yep.
All right, so with those amendments, make a motion, we approve the minutes of 12:21.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So that's that one.
And now, so now we are up to the minutes of January 4th. I did have a few things. You had a few things. All right. You want to be the keeper of?
Sure, I could be the keeper.
All right. So you wanted to, well, I'll let you speak.
Okay, so first page, under UMass Boston, I have that changed to the Collins Center. I think it's the Collins Center who
Right.
works through UMass Boston, but that's
Yep.
who our agreement is with. I scratched Class 2 and Class 3 license renewals above the Personnel Policy Handbook, because we didn't do anything with
Right.
those. They were all
Agreed.
done the week before.
Yep.
Just a dot under board's goal and priorities, just an extra space for
And I
that.
had a couple things on the first page.
Okay, what do you have?
On these two bullets, posted 10 days with no comment becomes, well, all right, actually, I'm going to withdraw my concern. It's
Okay. Okay. All right, then with Tara Shaw, the town clerk spoke regarding, isn't it the meeting postings, not the agenda postings, it's the meetings?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so the meeting postings,
Yes, but it was also how the
Maybe we should put
Master
them
law was-
both. Notice of meeting and agenda postings.
Gotcha,
Yes.
meeting and agenda postings. Okay, Frank is misspelled, it's in here as Fran Bush, so it's Frank Bush. And then I had under the strawberry shortcake that it was tentatively approved, providing that,
Okay.
receives the necessary sign-offs for all the other department heads.
Yep.
And then this, under MMA trade show, it's not a trade show application, it's the notice of the annual town
Okay.
meeting. Or annual MMA meeting.
Right.
Yeah, and trade shows.
It's-
It's
yeah.
actually got both.
Okay,
So, and I had something on that page as well.
okay, what do you have, Colleen?
Under Fire Chief Borsari, under correspondence.
Yep,
It says that he's requesting funding for the SCBA air packs. He's only requesting a percentage of funding if he gets a grant. So-
And I wrote that actually as, the second sentence was, Mr. Russo will explore funding options for the town portion.
okay,
That's fine.
all right.
So that'll be the next sentence there.
So,
And
Mr. Russo will explore funding.
funding options for the town portion.
Okay,
Although
And
it doesn't say that there's a grant involved there at all.
requesting
It's just that he's requesting funds. And
funding for town portion of SCBA EarPack grant.
Yeah, that's good.
And actually, I just mentioned, by the way, is I did explore that with FinCom, and we're not coming up with really good answers. The chief let me know that after further exploration later in the week, there are ways that it would simply go into the budget for next year, and so we could deal with it at town meeting. And did you have anything else
No,
on
that was it.
So I had a couple more under correspondence.
Okay.
I thought we needed to flesh out. The first one, Plympton Finance Committee recommendation, blah, blah, blah. I thought, actually, I'm gonna withdraw my concern there as well, because we've taken care of it. And under police chief, I
Yep.
just thought we should add that the Board of Selectmen, will take that up at our next executive session.
Okay.
As we have.
okay.
And then the last one, under email regarding age increase for purchase of tobacco in Plympton, we discussed that this was a Board of Health issue and that we understood that Board of Health was in the process of reviewing that.
Okay, so that is,
So I think we simply, email regarding age increase for the purchase of tobacco in Plympton.
Okay.
Discussion was, this is a Board of Health issue.
okay,
Yeah.
And that's
okay.
all I had.
Okay. I just have one more on the last page. It's when you did the public safety building committee, I abstained, not recused.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Nope, no worries.
Right. Okay, I make a motion the minutes of January 4th be accepted as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow. I think, one more. Board of Selectmen meetings for January 6th. I make a motion these be accepted as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
And abstain.
You don't want to
Alright.
recuse yourself?
No, I'm not gonna recuse myself.
My goodness, I think we did it. Looks like Art had something on his mind? No? No? All right, just over 2 hours, not too bad.
Art, can I ask you a question? You guys don't do the transfer station anymore, right? That's Jim? The transfer station, that's under Jim?
Yes, that's under Highway Department.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know if this would even be something that there'd be an interest in, but the possibility of recycling batteries.
We do.
We do? Where?
In the universal waste shed, it's a little wooden shed.
Okay,
that is where people can bring their lead acid, their lithium, also mercury products, which include the old Honeywell thermostats with the vial in the back, thermometers, you know, the old.
Yeah, mercury.
Fluorescent tubes, CFLs, because they all contain mercury. They have special containers there. So, yeah, and that's all free. Residents can come in and get rid of it, and it's all taken away. We have an agreement, it actually, I don't believe, costs the town anything to get rid of it because it's hazardous material.
Right.
And it goes out, and there's a bill of lading with hazardous material, everything's accounted for, and so it's all taken care of properly.
Well, great, well, thank you, that's a great public service announcement.
And we also take sharps.
Sharps, what's a sharp?
Really?
For folks who
Okay,
use insulin or other things, we have containers at the transfer station, the medical waste containers for sharps. Residents can come in, get a free one, fill it, bring it back to us, and exchange it for an empty one to keep them off the streets. And they are illegal to throw in the waste stream. So, and we have a number of residents who partake of that. So.
excellent. Great, well, thank you very much, thanks for sharing those.
Okay, so we thank everyone for attending or watching after the fact. We will be back in 2 weeks with probably a pretty interesting meeting. Please spread the word on the marijuana discussion that'll go on. We want people's input.
Absolutely.
The more we're informed about how citizens are and the more citizens take advantage of it before we make a decision, the better. So.
Yeah, and ideally, it's best to attend the meeting if possible, because, you know, you gain something by being there and you can ask your questions, but if you can't be there, please reach out to one of us and let us know what you think. And once again, my phone number is 781-585-6930. My email is cjoy@town.plympton.ma.us. So please let us know what you think.
781-264-1220. My email's around.
781-585-8636, emails around. CT@town.plym, it's the same thing, only it's CT.
No, C. Thompson. C. Thompson.
C. Thompson,
And then
yes.
the rest, the same. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Right.